work. But today we're here with Sergio Sciortino. So we had a quick audio issue, so we had to restart. But today we're going to be talking about Red Day because we've talked about it in the past, and it's that time of year. Yeah. And it just happened last week from when this episode will be released, and it's it's a great project. We all do different volunteer projects, and Sergio, you've been with the company. Was last year your first Red Day?
Second Red Day. This will be my third Red Day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's amazing how quickly
fast, right?
it goes.
Yeah, because we joined in the same week, you and I. So we did first Red Day. I did the food store, and then you did.
Correct.
Obviously,
and the last two I've done Reed Academy in Oakland. Yeah.
Oh, so you did both at Reed Academy.
Both at Reed, and this year I'll be in Waldwick at a church.
And you said it's an autistic school.
Reed Academy is an autistic school in Oakland. Yeah.
I didn't never drove past it before. It's gorgeous.
I didn't know where it was.
Me either.
It's an amazing facility.
Because it's in the corporation area, the corporate park.
Yes.
Yeah, I've loved that our company has really always done projects with the different autism centers, like Alpine Learning Center in Ridgewood as well. Okay. We did that for a few years and helped them with their fundraising and projects to get the adult autism center up and running
2 years ago,
which
right?
is it's really beautiful.
Did you go to a dinner?
Yeah, they invited the ALC out to a special dinner that they had at Liberty Science Center to just thanking us, and we were one of the honorees because our office was so great for them. It was really really cool. Did
you go through the touch tunnel?
No, we didn't go. We didn't have access to the whole place, but I love that. I remember as a kid.
I haven't been in.
You haven't brought the kids there ever?
Not yet,
that's crazy.
Oh yeah, they would love that.
I went, and I remember the first time I went.
Winter place.
I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm cruising through this thing," and then I smashed my head into the wall in front of me, like I was like seeing stars in the complete darkness. But it was really it was always fun. I mean,
that place is wild.
The different games and stuff like puzzles that they would have set up.
I'm trying to borrow someone's kid so I can go to the Touch-a-Truck tomorrow in Wyckoff, and nobody's letting me bring their kid.
Didn't even know about it.
Well, do you want to go? Want to bring Dante?
Bring Dante.
Can I go pick him up?
Where is it?
It's at a church in Wyckoff.
That's not creepy or anything.
What's it for?
It's Touch-a-Truck. So it's...
I don't know what that is.
Well,
there was one in Ridgewood.
It's when companies, and my friend the Tuits, they're donating the cars, the trucks for the
tractors
day. So kids, my dream is to go on the roly-poly for the paving.
Oh, okay, yes.
And I actually had the opportunity to actually operate it at Howard's house to do his driveway, but I was busy that day. So that's on my bucket list, to go on the roly-poly. And it's the dumbest thing ever, but I'm obsessed with it. So it's tomorrow. Well, no, it's Saturday. I don't know what day it is. I'll get you the address, but it's 10 o'clock in the morning to something later on.
Oh,
I've just been trying to borrow someone's kid, and everyone's busy.
He's probably at school.
Saturday.
Tomorrow's Friday,
but Saturday. It's Saturday.
Is when the event is.
Yeah, I'm getting confused. I'm like, can he come? I asked 3 sets of friends with kids.
Just call him.
And it's in Wyckoff. It'll be easy.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd like me.
Yeah, he would.
He's shy. No, he's not shy. Your daughter's shy. But
you and Dante would get along.
Can Dante, can Dante come out and play?
Please. But I like Red Day though. But
Red Day's amazing.
I
can't believe our company does that.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's they said over 155,000 agents.
It comes from a very genuine place. A lot of other companies, not just in real estate, do it to kind of gain business or get exposure, and I think we just do it because it's our communities and we want to give where you live, which is our whole thing. And last year we painted, and that was really fun, but not really because it was just exhausting. And you had D-Rad, and that was
I had
one
fun.
day. So it's
I had fun, and yes, I stole the room with David Radney so that we could we kind of hung out and had our music playing, and David was, he doesn't need a ladder to do the top, so it's just like
he painted the upper half of the walls,
and we take care of that.
And we were in the other room, and we didn't have that. Scott was
Ceiling,
on his phone
no
the whole time.
Needed, no sticks.
Yeah, I actually did a GoPro time lapse video.
I do remember it.
And Mo Anderson liked it. I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, Mo Anderson's she was instrumental in the building of our company and
of Red Day because it's for her birthday.
Yes, absolutely. It's
Dave giving back and
honoring her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, this year, Sergio's also on the Agent Leadership Committee Council.
I think we're a council, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I like council better
council
because I think of Lord of the Rings, right? Like you're on a council; it's important.
Yeah, so we're on it together with Scott, and we have the largest one this year.
I know.
Oh, is it?
It's the largest one I've been a part of. Last year was smaller, but I find the very first one was probably about this size because we were building building the whole office and everything like that, and we had to take care of all of that. I mean,
and I feel like this year was a big shakeup. I feel like the first 2 years that I was at the company, well, this is still my second year, but it was kind of the same group of people, and I feel like this is a lot of new people. This is a lot of first timers.
Yeah. Well, so last year we had a lot of people continue from the previous year, but then the year before that we had almost all new people.
Okay.
I'm the only person who's done it every single year.
Yeah.
And I'll do it as long as Sally asks me to do it, because as long as I don't run the culture committee, it's nothing against the culture committee. It's just the most amount of work. And,
who's on that?
And but this year they have 3 people on it, which is why expanding it, to
a lot of events.
3 people, you don't need to do a whole lot when you're dealing with the finance committee, or for me, the strategic alliance committee, things like that.
You were funny in the meeting. You were funny.
Thank you.
I liked it.
But we have a couple big projects, but a lot of even technology. A lot of it is taken care of by...
Scott took the lazy topic.
No, but it's
He's like, technology.
Scott's getting stuff done.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yes.
But like
immediately.
We set out with the goal of getting a calendar, and all of a sudden there's a calendar. So
it doesn't matter how it happened. It just happened.
Google
Don't worry
calendar.
about it.
Yeah.
I'm a vision guy,
But like having Elise to help with the tech, like that was one of the big things when we first started, is that the tech committee ended up being train everybody how to use eEdge.
Yeah.
So it was myself, Larry Gruber, Candace Larson.
I love Mrs. Larson.
And I forget if there was
Shetler.
Yes, and Mike Shetler. And we were like, I was head of finance, but also worked technology because it was just
needed it.
We really needed that part of it.
I can't wait until we don't have eEdge anymore.
Talking about technology, that new system that's coming out, I cannot wait.
I'm excited.
Literally count down the days to that.
I just hope they're probably going to roll it out like they would Placer, like in regions.
Yeah.
We're one of the later regions.
We
actually.
always are.
I think midsummer, right? Early to
Yes.
No, I think
August.
they're
I think they said.
I think because I talked to Kate, I think it's going to start in August. We probably won't be getting it until later.
Until later in the year.
But it'll come quicker than you think. I mean, it's already mid-June.
Technology committee chair.
I kind of got ahead of myself and announced. I was like, "Yeah, we'll probably get some beta testing going on."
Did you make that up?
I made that up.
Great, I loved it. I heard that. I'm like, that's cool.
But,
I was Scott. Can I sign up, Scott?
But they did allow beta testing for Placer.
I'm sure they will.
I'm sure they will.
They
but he's not the authority to say that.
Hey,
he is the authority.
I'm the tech committee guy.
No, it doesn't mean you've accessed. You're ridiculous.
I'm gonna reach out to Gary and be like, "Hey."
Oh yeah, just text him.
Well, Kate I assume that he's listening. So Gary, I would like to be a beta tester.
If he's listening, I'm gonna stop cursing. I don't think he likes cursing. So Kate actually got a tour of Gary Keller's office when she went to FSO.
And Sergio was saying he's had that tour, which is
franchise systems orientation.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Austin's.
There's like a retina scanner
Keller
into his
world
office.
is pretty amazing.
She said there's like literally a retina scanner.
Keller building. That's cool.
Yeah, I haven't seen.
Are you gonna go to Mega Camp?
I believe I am.
I didn't know that. We're all going.
Yeah, it should be a good time.
We're all crashing together.
Oh, really?
Me, Deb, and the boys.
Sounds like
it's going to be ridiculous.
So he has a lot of guitars in his office, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And he collects not coins, like coin purses. Kate told me, and something else she told me that he's really into.
That.
That's cool. I
don't have any hobbies.
Their offices down there are so cool. No one has chairs. They're all sitting on balls. And their offices are so customized.
Modern, yeah.
Customized. Like, you can go in one office, it's pink with, like, fluff. And another office will be gray and streamlined. I mean, they can do whatever they want. Carpeting, walls, ceilings,
Well, I guess
lights.
it's whatever gets you in that creative mindset, you know?
You can
that productive mindset.
take it.
That's
What
pretty cool.
What would your dream office be like? Mine would be like Don Draper, like Mad Men, like bar cart, and then like that's really like with a skylight.
You
Glass,
just-
floor to ceiling.
Yeah.
Just drinks for Megan.
Just drinks, and like I would love like a couch, like a modern couch. But it would be very clean looking and a little daunting. Like I'd have a massive chair. Like
Mine, I definitely have a large scale touch screen. You know,
yeah.
like to be able to, you know, rather than having physical boards up everywhere, like so that I could put my vision board, like, and
Yeah,
be
that
able
would
to
be
just
cool.
go
That'd
between,
be- yeah.
like
An
that-
entire wall just taken up
digital
of.
pictures.
Yeah, like I was part of when we first started is the smart board. Now, obviously,
those in high school.
the technology has gotten so much further, but I think I'm one of the few people who even uses the smart board for the smart board.
That's what's so funny. We had them in all of our classrooms at IHA. They like, really rarely use them.
Yeah.
Like they would put dry erase on it. That's not what a smart board is. A couple math teachers would use it, but it's kind of funny. Like it's some people. I don't know. I wonder how they're using it now at my school, my old school. I wonder if they're using it more. But we all just like it's all pushed into the corner, like all that money. Sorry, IHA, I love you.
But
shit.
it's it is a great technology, but I mean it's just amazing how much further technology's come in such a short. I mean, it's not even that short of a time now. I mean, it's almost 7 years.
I'm like blown away by the GoPro. Like I'm blown away at how tiny it is, how amazing the footage is, and how I had to buy a whole new friggin' computer because my other one could not handle how high quality this was. It's crazy to me. And now this is old.
But that's kind of cool, though, too, is that I was just talking to our buddy Nick from the YPN about how, like,
Nick.
the GoPro Hero 4 that you have and I have, like, not much has changed with the Hero 5 now. Like, the technology has advanced to a point where, like, it's kind of stabilized. So, like, I'll be curious where that next step is. Like, what
10K,
can they...
because we're at 4K now. It'd be like 1 million K.
Yeah.
Well, I've already read that. Like, I was just every once in a while I'll browse TVs. Not that I need a TV at all, but I was like seeing, and they're like, this one's 4K and this one's 5K. I was just like, they don't even have enough broadcasts for 4K at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like they've got to catch up to that, you know. And it reminds me, like, going back, it's like now the big thing is the OLED, you know, the super thin screens that just are run on these LEDs. I remember when they first advertised them, they were like smaller than an iPad, and they were like $10,000 for that, you know, like little thing.
Scott's listing has a really cool TV. Really modern.
Talking about Canterbury?
Shh, don't air out your dirty laundry.
Yeah.
But this is
No, we've openly joked about it. So it was funny when we were taking the pictures. Like, we've got a gorgeous house. Everything is nice, clean, like nice hardwood floors. They painted it fresh. And then in the one picture, like, we just could not avoid having like this TV straight out of like the late 80s.
It's wood paneled.
Oh.
Yeah, like
nice.
So it's like a museum piece.
Like when you turn on, it's like, "Dwing." Remember that noise they used to make?
Is
And
it-
it takes a couple seconds.
Is it big enough that they could like redo it and make it like a fish tank? Because I've seen those.
It's
you can
actually
cut a
not
sink
that-
bowl out of the top and put it in your
It's
bathroom.
Yeah.
not that
Like-
deep, actually. It's not that deep, right? It's probably like this.
No, and it's funny because it's definitely like prior to like when they did like, you know, when flat screen TVs were those ginormous like pieces of furniture that would be down in the
That could
basement,
kill you.
like
Yeah.
roll that down the stairs and knock some people out. But
Like that would be like a murder show, like how someone killed their spouse. Oh, the TV fell. Like that'd be the way. That's the way I'd do it.
I fell going up the stairs. I'm taking one up to my room once. It was not a good situation.
Now you go to the store and your box has a handle. You just grab it and walk right out.
I know
right?
that was mind blowing for my parents when we went to get my MacBook right after I graduated high school for college, and we walked in. I'm like, all right, I already knew what I wanted because I knew what I wanted, and my parents were fine with it. And they just like you paid for it right there, and they just bring it out, and my dad's like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah. Welcome to the future. That was 2009. So it was like now it's much more common. But I was in and out of the store and I got my iMac. I would say from the minute I walked in to the minute left, I would say less than 10 minutes. I said, I want this. Here's my card. Thank you. Out. Like, it makes it so easy to spend $1,600 in 10 minutes, but well worth it.
Well, now everything with Apple Pay or Samsung Pay or whatever.
Do you use that, Serge?
No.
I don't use it either. It weirds me out.
It's phenomenal where it just like most of the time you already have your phone in your hand and just.
I don't think I'm allowed to have that kind of power. Like, I was talking to Scott this morning and like Amazon texted me. I'm like, oh no, what did I get drunk and order last night? I got drunk and I ordered natural tick spray. Like, no one needs that.
Well, yeah, you do have.
Matt needed it for Matt. He's got ticks, but I'm like, why did I buy that? And I bought an olive oil sprayer.
I
think we might have that on our wedding registry.
Really?
Yeah.
I have like half the stuff that they have. I'm like, that's good, that's good, that's good. So like, if you like, apparently olive oil's got a lot of calories in it. No one friggin' told me.
Awesome.
I thought it was healthy. Apparently, it's me too.
It is healthy.
I know it is, but it has a lot of calories in it. So I want to buy the spray.
So you use less of it.
And then just because I was feeling pretty good last night and bought natural tick remedy, and I bought an olive oil spray. I better not put the tick.
Don't mix those up.
Yeah. I'd be dead in a minute.
So, Sergio, we were talking before. We were actually at an event, and you were telling me how you bought an old house. Like, what year was it originally built in?
So it was built in, we think it was 1890, because when we took up the rugs and the three or four layers of linoleum in the kitchen, we found newspaper with the last hanging in New Jersey. A bridge going into Manhattan that did not come into existence. It was pretty cool. 1903, I think the newspapers were. We found some. I was literally on the floor reading the newspaper. I have pictures. There was just newspaper everywhere.
That's cool.
And the walls, that's when it was insulated, just one sheet of newspaper. It's pretty wild.
That's insane.
So I built. That was 2001. Actually, I went under contract right before 9/11.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Did you ever look up that newspaper and see if it's worth anything? The last hanging in New Jersey?
I have the article. It's a small article, and I saved it. I have it somewhere in my house. I thought it was so cool, the last hanging in New Jersey.
Speaking of 9/11, didn't everybody save the newspaper? Like, my parents had the newspaper.
I'm pretty sure my parents did.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people. I remember you couldn't even get a newspaper back then because the internet wasn't as big as it is now.
It was crazy.
Yeah, we went under contract in August, and then 9/11 happened. I had a business. And I was even debating, should I go through with this? Because it was like world changing, right?
Yeah, when
that happened, I'm like, oh my God, what's going to happen if I can't pay the bills? My business is going. So we ended up closing. It was the best decision ever. But
what were you
was
doing
that your
then?
first house?
That was my first house, in 2001. What was I doing?
Yeah,
I had a tanning salon.
That's what I thought, tanning salon. So Sergio's had a very interesting life.
I had bought it 6 years prior, 95.
And I was telling you, my sister, she did the same. She had right around the same time, she was a personal trainer, and she had the ability to build the suite right next to her and open that up for tanning.
Okay.
And she did, kind of the same thing. And then, as people got, averse to tanning salons, she, dropped it, dropped that part of the business and went into.
You'll always have prom, though. You'll always have prom over tanning salons.
It wasn't prom. It was really people going away vacations for spring and summer.
Getting that base tan.
Yeah, everyone goes away in March, right? And they have that pale skin. They're going to ruin their vacation, so they'd come in, get a base, even before the summertime.
Humans are the worst things that have ever happened. Gotta get a base tan! I used to do that. I remember I bought a package of 10 tans for my senior prom, and I looked good. I was so tan. But I'm so cautious now.
It was a good gift for girlfriends back then.
Yeah. That's a really good gift, Michael.
Gift certificate season was amazing.
Crazy, right? Wow. How long did you have the tanning salon for?
12 years.
And where was it again? What town?
In Hawthorne.
Oh, nice.
In Hawthorne, yeah.
Now, did you sell it when you were done?
I sold it. I sold it because someone approached me to sell it. I had no intention of selling it. But once that idea was in my head, and I'm like, okay, I've done this for 12 years. Real estate, I love it. I really would love to do that full time, but I can't because I have this. It's open 12 days, 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. I had employees.
Damn.
But I was running it during the day. So I had the opportunity to sell it, and it's the best decision I ever did, and go real estate full time and no looking back.
No, you're amazing. I was saying before, he was the only male that did this professionally in my old office. So
that office, and then coming over to Kelly, you see how many people
there's so many other guys.
That's what I said. That was like the first thing I noticed. Like there's people in here, and that it's not their second career.
I'm with 3 guys right now.
It's like they're succeeding, and this is their main business. Where
Yeah.
In the past, it was like just based.
That's how my office was. I mean, were there men that did business in my office? Yes, but predominantly it was a female-driven business.
I mean, it still is.
They were also all my company was Remax. They were all older at the time, so I didn't. And then when we start building Keller Williams. There weren't a lot of young people to start because I was so early on. We only had 15 or so people when I first started, but it was a different energy. It was it was a sharing atmosphere, and I've said it many times that it's like amazing. If I was just starting, I would have gone to here in a heartbeat. God. I would never have been at my old company.
If I would have just started there.
I know. That's what it is. Like,
if we started at Keller.
We've talked about this before, though, is that to me, I kind of have like a special appreciation.
Well, I was just about to say that same thing, but would you appreciate it? Because and I tell people that are brand new and are doing transactions their first year, I'm like you have no idea how far coming into this. They'd be like, oh well, if you do a deal this year, you're doing great. A couple of years you'll start. We're here. It's like no. In a month, you're going to have business. You can start having business today.
Well, they say the average is like for a realtor in their first year is like only like $25,000 if they're doing it full time. If they're like in total income for the year, you can't pay your bills on that, especially not in New Jersey. So it's now we have people that are just absolutely knocking it out of the park.
They don't know any better
right away because they're getting good habits off the start.
Yeah. Well, it's since I've known Sergio before, and he was great in business back then. But like something switched with Sergio when he came to KW. Like he got hungry, like really ferociously hungry.
Well, they teach you
how to run a business, focus on your why, and everything falls into place. And that's so true, right? If your why's big enough, it's going to drive you to succeed. If it's just a wishy-washy idea that you don't really believe in, you're not going to do it. And even just the term lead generation, like I never really heard that term anywhere else. I didn't hear it. I wasn't told. Like, I mean, I made phone calls back in the my old company, but they were like not focused. They were farming calls, but I didn't have a purpose. I didn't have a script. And it's crazy because like I actually did make calls back then when I had no idea what I was doing. If only someone had just guided me.
Actually, you had done them for me.
Yeah.
I had given her my past open house sheets. And that's when I started, like, I'm like, all right, Meg, just, like, these are all of them. Just stack. Go through them and make calls. And she was doing them. I just remembered that was
I know, but, like, what happened to me now? Like, I don't know what happened to me.
Yeah, and at that point, I just saw something different. Like, I have to leave this environment. This is not enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
plateauing.
I want more.
Yeah.
Well, that's we've said it over and over again, but it's every level. It's like, oh, you're just starting out and you want to get to here. Here's what you do.
Yeah.
You're okay. You've made it to the next step. Here's the next step. Right. Here's the next step. There is no last. Yeah. And they really have made it so there is no last step. I mean, we've got people creating teams
especially with expansion.
Bob Lucido has 100 agents working as part of his team.
Yeah. A brokerage within a brokerage.
Yeah.
That's the goal, right? You want to have a brokerage within a brokerage with no liability.
A small company. 100 agents. That's bigger than most real estate.
Would you ever want to like run an expansion team, or do you think that that's not something you desire?
I don't know right now. It's not in. I wouldn't want an expansion team, say in Ohio, say, but I would love to get a team going here. Bergen, Monmouth, which I've joined the Monmouth. I'm also doing a little bit of business down there. I would love to have something going in the shore.
And I think that's a very natural
the middle of the shore,
because
Long Branch, Seabright.
I went to my first year of college, Monmouth, and then I went to Rampo, and I was surprised how many kids I knew from Monmouth County. So I feel like Monmouth and Bergen County are two that's your own expansion.
And that's like an up and coming area. So I would love that.
I actually was feeling nostalgic today, so I actually went on the Monmouth website, and I actually looked at some of the descriptions of the real estate classes, and I was like, damn, I'm so glad I didn't stay there, just because I ended up working at my parents' place, which is a huge opportunity for me to grow and have a network, and I met Matt, obviously, so I'm glad that I wasn't down the shore. But I looked at some of like the classes and I was like, damn, I wish I could have taken them. Like I actually I mean, I don't need them, but the real estate degree in Monmouth was more about like investing. So I kind of wish that maybe I had learned a little more about that.
But real estate, you have to learn hands-on.
Oh, absolutely.
You could be book smart in real estate. It doesn't apply to real
absolutely.
life.
I just had a buddy from high school reach out and ask me, like, what school should I go to? Like,
Doesn't matter.
I was like, that information, like, is going to be...
The only thing that I learned that I remember is... What is an acre? 43,560. Like, what is square footage?
Right.
That is the only thing that I remember, and it's really useful.
Most people don't even know that 43.5. But most people just go to the general rounded. It's just over 40.
Yeah. So if a client asks me, and I tell them, and I'm like, if you use 44 as a good number, then you know quarter acre, half an acre, and you'll be okay.
But like that's the one thing that stuck in my head, and I'm not a numbers person, but like that number, I'm like, that's important to know.
Well, yeah, because you're looking at the square footage, and you know, well, that's a decent yard, that's not a decent yard.
And then they have the builder's acre, which is 0.9. You know,
but still, that was the one thing that I learned.
Regardless, that real estate school is not teaching you anything that's going to help you.
Other than
start
Keller Williams, that's the real estate school that you need to go to.
Yeah.
Other than to be ethical. Because that's one of the biggest things that people should take away from real estate.
You're learning ethics before you've ever done a transaction, so it can be a little difficult.
It's true.
It's good, but
they don't know how to apply it.
No, you don't know how to apply it, and it's just kind of that's the part where there's a disconnect.
Like you need an internship.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's the mentor
have it
or
for
having
other
a coach.
trades.
Well, that's why I love now we've got the launch program at KW where like these new agents are coming into the business and having someone skilled like Patty Jalal be able to sit there and basically tell them everything they're going to need to know about actually selling their first house
and getting it to close.
When I went full time, I sat in the office like literally Monday through Friday and just absorbed listening.
That's what I did with you.
I sucked it all in. I was like, and I'm like, you learn so much just from listening there. And I see people that just don't do that.
Was
there's a lot of value of hanging out in the office. You have nothing else to do. Hang out in the office on the computer, and you'll learn.
I think people thought I was crazy because I was driving up every day from Jersey City and just sitting in the office.
Do the same thing. It's the best way to learn.
Or I'd go on tour with you.
And you learn about homes.
Tour is huge, and I think a lot of people undervalue it because they think, oh, I can just see things through the internet, and you can't.
Right.
They're as much as we love our photographers and we want the best pictures possible. Pictures lie. And,
and they're not explaining style, French drains, steam heat, hot water baseboard. There's no pictures of the AC system, of the electric panel, of knob and tube wiring. That's the stuff you need to know.
I got so into that, and I've helped. I've taken agents on tour before, like paying it forward to show them, like when we go into a basement, like I'd spend more time showing them the basement, around.
That's what I love.
Like
I go right to the basement. I'm like, boom, 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 boom.
It's like, oh, it has radiant heat, and they're like, wait, it has. What do you mean? And I say, well, you see these pipes going over here, and like go through things.
That's where our value comes in, really.
Yeah. I mean, you're not an inspector, but at least you should be able to explain the product that you're selling.
Yep.
Right, just to get them familiar. And I tell them, I'm not an inspector, but I can tell you, look, this is.
Can you
that's
tell
the biggest
us?
thing. We came out of real estate school, and I can distinctly remember like realizing in the MLS they had the different styles of homes, and I was like, I don't even know what these are. Split level, Cape Cod.
But meanwhile, you're licensed to be an advocate and show people styles when they ask you, I want a Cape Cod or I hate bi-levels.
So
and you're like...
Same thing, Started going out on tour and being like, okay, now I understand why this is a Cape Cod.
That was little Megan in 2003 seeing 200 homes with my mom, and I'm like, ooh. Like, we had like a little checklist. So like I had like a very early introduction into like different home stuff.
I can tell you style and... That looks good from the road.
I was just talking to clients. I was just talking to. I had 2 buyer presentations this week, and I'm bringing them in, and we're getting an idea of what they really want. By the way, we've said a million times, bring them into the office first if you're going to do a buyer's presentation. And if you're a buyer, still come into the office first because that first meeting will save you a ton of time.
And I don't want to get murdered.
Absolutely.
Well,
I'd prefer to not get killed.
Well, but it lays the groundwork, and it makes life so much easier. Like like exactly what Michael was saying on both ends. The expectations on both ends.
Well, it's funny. I was talking to my clients yesterday. So they were referred to me by another KW agent. I am listing their home and I'm helping them find a home. And we were chatting at lunch, and they're like, yeah, we interviewed XYZ people. And they said one company, it's the Yellow School Bus Company, they spent almost like 45 minutes talking about their company. Like their company. And like, obviously we do that a lot in our podcast because it's the culture. And he said to me, he goes, don't be offended, Megan. I don't give a shit who you work for. And I'm like, you shouldn't care who I work for. And they're like, yeah, we got all these binders and all these booklets. And I'm like, did you realize I gave you nothing? They're like, yeah. I'm like, because I sat down and asked about you. And they're like, well, that's what was the big difference. Like, I need to know, can I help you? What are you looking for? What do you think of your home is worth? And so, like, we always say, Scott always says, like, it's not a listing appointment or a listing presentation. It's a consultation. We're here to consult with you. Right. And
how can I help you?
Yeah, how can I help you? Yep. But they were like, yeah, you actually didn't give us anything. I'm like, because there's nothing that I could give you in paper that, like, besides, like, comps or whatever, that is going to, like, make me any better than the next person. I asked about them. They're like, well, yeah, we like that you didn't talk about yourself.
It's interesting. So we're on the same page without even talking about this prior.
Yeah. Because you don't really bring. I know this about you. Yeah. Neither does Scott.
Nothing.
And like I don't really have like a. I had like my iPad. I had like fluff. Staging. I had because by my area KW is not that popular. So I had who is KW. I had some of our stats in case they asked. As an objection. And then I had staging and I had photos, like the things that I do, and I show my Facebook marketing. But I wasn't going to leave that with them. And also, they're like young. Like, I can just email you my PowerPoint. Like, I'm not worrying about coming here with all this book that you're just going to put on your counter and throw out. But the biggest thing was that the one agent just kept talking about her company and not about how she can help them or what they need. So sometimes I'm like, maybe we're not crazy for not doing, like, this whole big...
I'm there. I feel like I'm the problem solver, right?
Yeah.
What's the problem that you need me to solve?
But buyer consults...
Same thing. Buyer consults. Why are they coming here?
I give them more... Right? I give them more to look at for buyers because they have
I always have a pre-listing packet. There are two different, with listings it's different. With listings, I give a pre-listing packet and I say this is just the general information. I'm not going to spend all the time going over everything in here, but if you want to take a look through it here, and then I again talk about needs, talk about what they need for their home. Then when we actually meet, we go over pricing and if they have any questions based on the information.
And very rarely they do.
But like with buyers, almost never. And a lot of people admit.
Didn't look at it.
It's like, I didn't look at it. But it's like, you know what? And makes you feel, but you don't make them feel guilty about it.
No.
It's like, I understand. It's not a problem. Here's the paperwork.
But they might look at it after.
If they're ready to sign, and if it's a question that they do have that was already covered there, then we just go, we can go back, see right here. This is where people find homes. But what I just started using for, and this was provided for me by the KW Young Professionals Network. It's a buyer's. It's called an expectation of service, rather than we still have full exclusive buyer's agreements, but this is just a non-binding agreement that just lays the stage, and it has a few things. It says the agent's duty is to use best efforts to locate and submit property meeting buyer's criteria to the buyer, represent the best interests of the buyer, and assist, consult, negotiate, and guide them through the buying process, and act obedient, loyal, disclose all information confidentiality, be accountable, and give skill and care to the buyer. But then it also lays out buyer's duty.
Yes.
It says disclose to other agents your relationship with Keller Williams Realty, be respectful of the agent, and advise the agent of any home offered for sale to the buyer where the buyer may have interest in purchasing the property, including for sale by owner properties.
Yep.
Because we're there to be your advocate.
Right. Yeah.
And
I like that.
And it's just it just lets them know that we expect respect back.
Yeah.
And if we get that respect back, we will go to the ends of the earth for you.
I'll go to Mordor for you.
Well, that's why.
Yeah, exactly.
The idea of the buyer consultation is almost setting that kind of expectation that, like, if you don't have the time to come sit down for 15 minutes, it doesn't even have to be in the office. A lot of times, I'll even schedule a showing, but say, like, hey, there's a Starbucks a couple blocks away. Let's grab a coffee.
Give them a freebie.
I just totally went freaking Jersey.
We're gonna go get a coffee.
grab a coffee beforehand. We can cover any kind of questions you guys might have about the process before we even get into the first house we're going to look at.
Yeah. And I've done it at the first house too.
Yeah.
At least having that conversation, and if somebody doesn't have the time in the day to do that, then maybe they're not that serious about starting their home search.
Or they're going to be asking you questions at 9:30 on a Saturday night. 10,000 questions. You're like, this is not the time to be at. Like, you could ask, you know what I mean? Like, there's a time and a place for us to sit down and go over everything. But I think like a buyer consult, I'll give them more because I think sometimes like you have a whole binder, but I do infographics of like the whole process just as a visual cue. But for sellers, I'm just like, do you like me? Do you trust me? Do you want to work with me? And that's really all it is.
Yeah, and I think the buyers are more interested in trying to figure out what the process actually entails.
Yes.
I realized last year why the buyer consult was so important. I had a husband and wife, and I guess I just assumed from talking to the wife, like she sounded so informed about what buying a home was going to be like. I never realized that the husband had like no idea what it was going to entail. And so all of a sudden we found a house they liked. We hadn't done a consult. And all of a sudden he was like, well, what's next? What happens?
Right.
What does this mean? How do we place an offer? And all of a sudden all those questions came rolling out, and it was like, oh my God, we're about to write an offer and you don't even know
terms of attorney review, inspection, contingency, mortgage contingency, appraisal, right? All these.
My buyer consultation this week, one of them, it was a friend, a childhood friend who I grew up with. It was his parents, and they said at the beginning of the meeting, they said, we've never bought a home or bought or sold a home, because when he first, they were in when he moved into the house that he did, they bought the land and they built the house on it.
Oh wow!
And they've been there for my friend's whole life. So it's just like they said, so we really don't know the process, so what do we have to expect? And luckily we had preparation of our talking about transfer tax, talking about all the different things that they can expect through the process, and they were I could see it really put them at ease on the whole process, because we're going to be helping them through that. And it's easy to assume that somebody has bought and sold, but hey, maybe they inherited their house.
And it's different too. It's so changed now. You can't assume anything.
Right.
And I've even done really extensive buyer consults, and then like 3 months later, they're like, "Oh my God, wait, what?" I'm like,
"Well, they still ask
go to the infographic, and you'll see exactly where we are on this timeline." I love my little infographic.
And attorney is important too, right? You explain what the attorney's going to be doing for them, so they know the expectation. What's your job, and the attorney also.
They take a contract, they change one thing, and they justify their fee. That's my...
Well, I tell them that the attorney's going to kill the deal. Right? The first thing he's going to kill the deal, right? And it's according to the contract, right? Attorney review. It kind of puts a pause on the deal until both attorneys have a meeting of the minds, and then the contract's back on, and then we do our inspections. So they're not afraid when they get that letter, I disapprove, and right?
And then like, oh no, my attorney says this is no good.
Especially if they're used to New York versus New Jersey.
Correct.
Because in New Jersey, it is a standard contract that they make changes to, whereas in New York, it's an offer sheet, and then the attorneys write up an entire contract by themselves, which, is excessive. Yes, no two real estate deals are alike, but almost every real estate contract is pretty similar to one another with a few changes. So I prefer the way that we do it.
The attorney's riders too are pretty similar.
I found out in New York, if you don't do a seller disclosure, you get fined like $500 as a homeowner. You have to say, I'm not signing this, and they fine you.
Although
that's what I found out. I'm like, that's weird.
Although the problem with that is that, from what I've heard, sellers in New York basically say, like, fine, like, I'll take the $500 fine, and now I don't have to disclose anything. Although, again, like I just talked to one of my sellers today, and to me, the seller's disclosure is such a huge tool for the seller, as long as it's not like, if they're trying to hide something, then that's an issue. But they're describing the age of the systems and the roof and all this stuff, and now the buyer signs that before they even submit their offer.
So when the inspections,
your offer should be based on the
on the knowledge of the seller's disclosure. Right. So if you want to come during inspections and say, "Oh, well, the hot water heater is old," well, we told you it was 15 years old, and you submitted your offer accordingly. So
because a lot of homeowners are like, "Oh," I'm like, "Yeah, like this can be a basis for us to, not be a jerk later on, but if someone's, I had a situation where in Oakland, the deal almost got killed over $200 because of a furnace. And I'm like, as much as you use it, sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. But I tell my clients, like, don't be afraid of this. You're better off disclosing it so they know than finding out later when you're under contract and now the deal's going to blow up after you spent all this money on the deal.
Right.
But it is there to help you.
Yeah, I always find it seller's disclosure is much more beneficial for the seller.
I have it at my listing.
It's great information for the buyer, but the buyer has to use that information and be aware of it when they're making their offer. Mm-hmm. And that's, I always spend time. I said, don't, you're not making an offer without looking through the seller's disclosure carefully. Yep. Because
we've encountered a lot in Hasbrook, me and Scotty, where they're like, oh yeah, we'll get one done. I'm like, well, we already submitted an offer. Like, at this point, it's useless.
In this market, it happens all the time, right? The home just hits the market. Everyone's flying with the offers, and they haven't even filled that out yet.
But this is like a little bit backwards.
Like, Southern Bergen County seems to do real estate completely differently than Northern Bergen County.
No lock boxes. Homeowners are always home. Like, I have not showed it, like, only...
And yeah, this is not... I mean, plenty of houses, even ones that were on the market for, like, months. They're just like, oh, the seller doesn't have it. All right, great. Well, when inspection comes, we're going in blind.
Yeah. Or they're saying, after we ask for it and we're putting in an offer, oh, we can get it to you. Well, at that point, we've already put in an offer. This is useless.
Yeah.
And we're not signing it. Because you don't sign it, do you?
Yeah, I do now.
You do now?
Yeah,
okay.
Because at that point, we have to, but at that point in the deal, it's not a disclosure. It wasn't disclosed by the time you made the offer.
Yeah.
That's the,
like
that's
information.
the key.
If it's after the fact.
Yeah. But really, it really should be seen as a positive. Everybody should use it because at one point I had water in my basement. I haven't had it in 5 years.
Or I put in a
but I had it at one point. Right. That way, someone's not coming in and
during inspections, like, it's hidden.
Yeah.
Well, why did they tell us they had water? Well, maybe Yeah.
And that's exactly what just happened to me on a deal. Someone was going in, a week before the closing and said, they'd put on the seller's disclosure. At one point there was water in the basement. Hasn't been in years, but they haven't been going down to the basement to check every single time it rained either if there was any water. So, but it has happened in the past. Yeah. Well, then the people were there and there was some water in the basement. They said it was disclosed already, and then they didn't make a big deal of it.
Yeah.
It was because it was on, they might have to put a French drain eventually.
Knowledge is key.
Yeah.
So now, as long as we have Sergio on the podcast, I feel like I do want to go back to the fact that, so you bought that house. Oh, yeah. You find this old newspaper when you did a lot of work to that house, right?
So I buy that house. I basically bought a piece of land, and it just came with a house on it. Because the house was a wreck.
Pretty decrepit.
So I bought it in Saddlebrook, backed up Saddle River County Park, and I bought it because it backed up the park and woods, and I had, bonfires and made a patio. No, I was single. I was dating Amy at the time.
I love Amy.
So, the house was a wreck.
You weren't single if you were dating her. Let's clarify.
Okay, I wasn't married, all right? We'll clarify that.
For tax reasons, you were single.
I was single, right. So we moved in there. Well, we didn't move in right away because I made them take the oil tank out.
Good.
Prior to closing, so I closed on the house.
Nice, so you were kind of ahead of your time there.
With no heat. Had nothing, no boiler, no heat in the house. We closed. And just started ripping apart the house. It needed
How much of the original home did you keep?
I kept a lot of it.
Okay.
But we took down a lot of sheetrock and had ceiling tiles.
Was it sheetrock or was it plaster?
It was plaster with horsehair.
Yep. I've had
it was disgusting. I had respirators, taking the ceilings down. Beautiful tin ceiling in the kitchen. So we ended up doing all the ceilings, hi-hats, heating, new front porch. Actually, the month before I closed on it, we got a plaque from the county for, I don't know exactly what it was.
Thanks for fixing up this shithole.
Almost like a restoration, but it was like one of the oldest homes in Saddlebrook because a lot of the town flooded. But this house was on a knoll and never flooded. So the new owner got the benefit of that plaque, so that was kind of cool.
Oh,
but I love that house. But
have you been in it ever since?
No.
Because it has been on the market?
No.
So how long ago did you sell it?
I sold it in 08. So in 08, I had a baby. So I sold my business, went into real estate full time, sold that house, bought a new house and bought a condo at the shore.
So you just
all
said,
in 1 year. I rolled the dice.
Let's just make my entire life stressful for a year.
Yeah, and it all worked out awesome. I'm so happy.
You work well under chaos.
Absolutely, I love it.
Thrive
yeah,
under
when
chaos.
it gets too calm, I need to throw a wrench in it. Like I would sell my house right now. I tell my wife all the time, let's sell it right now. Let's redo it. Let's go get another fixer. Let's go.
Yeah.
Every 2 years, let's do it.
But Amy's so smart, and she's so like. You guys are a really great partnership. Like, you really are.
She like holds the reins.
She does. She holds the reins.
I just want to run, right, and just do everything at 100 miles an hour.
But
so
she's also like
calm down, calm down.
But she brings a lot to the table. Like, I think you guys have a really strong partnership and a really strong marriage.
Yeah. I'd work 24/7 if I could. Like, just let's go. We'll sleep 4 hours a day and just let me run, you know?
Yeah, no, I like
But so you bought the condo at the shore because you also like to relax a little bit, right?
Yeah, the condo was like a long-term investment. So we bought in 07, and I did not use that condo until personally, like just in between rentals, right? Yeah. And sometimes they worked out in the summer, and I got to keep it for a week or two before I had to rent it again because financially I couldn't do it. So I bought it in 07 or 08. 08. It was 08. And I think 3 years ago was the first time that we started using it for the summer. But before that, it was rented all the time, which was killing me, right? But I had to financially. But now it's at a point where we can rent it in the winter, keep it in the summer.
Well, you hustle all year so you can enjoy the beach.
What town is it down
It's
there?
in Long Branch.
Long Branch.
I love Long Branch.
Yeah. Great town.
It is a great town. And you don't rent to college kids, or do you?
This year was actually the first time we have a grad student from Monmouth University, and it worked out very well.
Are they from the area? Oh, probably not from the area.
From Tennessee, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's from Tennessee.
That's kind of cool.
She's a grad student.
Nice southern lady.
What is she studying?
I don't know.
You should ask
Never met her.
Oh.
I've never met any of my tenants.
That's probably better. Arm's length.
I don't meet them. Anything that they need, I get a professional to fix it right away.
Yeah.
And they're
so
happy.
how are rentals? Are they different at all? Because like up here, the tenant's paying for the commission.
I pay the fee. I lose a month. Yeah, the landlord south of the Amboys, the landlord pays.
I think the landlord should, in my personal opinion. I know you're a landlord, so probably don't agree. Right. Or how about you each just pay your own realtor in that case?
Yeah, it should be split.
It should be split.
There should be some splitting, but it's becoming more and more difficult because of, especially in our area, in condo corporations. I'd say houses fine, but condos now are requiring landlords to pay fees to review the lease, even though it's a standard lease. Almost everyone in condo association now has some form of review clause where they have their attorney look at the.
Oh, really?
And it's just a way of the condo associations to make more money and discourage people from having too many rental properties.
Gotcha.
But it's becoming like a $500 fee to review the lease. Okay, now you're making something that might not be as profitable anymore. So I do get it in some situations.
That sounds like maybe the condo associations should just raise the.
No, but I'm saying these are even strong ones that don't have financial problems.
It's just a way to get money.
That annoys me.
You're at their mercy.
Yeah, it's people who have been. Most times when I see it happen, it's the people who are running the association have been tenants there for a very long time. I mean, have lived there, not tenants, but owners there for a very long time, and they're trying to discourage people from having rental units because they think that for some reason a renter is worse than it's like we're not dealing with inexpensive rentals in most of
my
these.
rental, like I make that place shine compared to that's why when they walk in it rents quick, but I give them everything: Wi-Fi, flat screen TVs, furniture. Like my tenant last year, second week there, he's like, we had a power surge and the TV blew out. I'm like, really? So I got there and I'm like, oh man, I couldn't get you a 48-inch TV. He's like, oh man, really? I'm like, yeah, I got you a 52-inch TV. He's like, awesome, man. The guy loved me. Best tenant ever. All my tenants, they all want to, they want to stay. Every year they want to stay for the rest of the year. But I'm like, it's just a winter rental. But if you go that little extra mile, that's why I don't get a lot of these landlords. They just try to, pinch their pennies, and it doesn't pay out in the long run. It just doesn't.
But it is certainly a different aspect of the business that a lot of people, and a lot of clients aren't, as aware of. They think, they have one view on how it is to be a landlord, and there are different ways to be landlords. I find a lot of times getting a smaller place that has a better return, that you don't have to take care of as many things, you can actually provide more for the tenant, and you can have a better relationship with that tenant because you know it's going to get rented. Whereas the people who are trying to rent out these, something that's, $3,000 a month, now you've got far fewer people who can afford it, and a lot of times you're only getting people that are
temporary,
that are moving down, that something happened with their home situation where they can afford to pay, but their credit isn't good.
Yeah.
So sometimes it works out great, but other times
what I don't get is it's your property. You should want to keep it nice.
Right.
You should, because that's going to be the TV you're watching. Obviously, that was very generous.
It's different
of you.
in my position, right?
I don't know.
Right.
I still feel like even if
but now a lot of other tenants in the building are following what I've been doing, and they're giving them Wi-Fi and they're giving them flat screen TVs. And
that's why I think you should look into Airbnb. I think I'm curious how.
Well, what he's doing a college, like a grad student, most of the time they've been treated they've been treated poorly by every other landlord that they've dealt with if they've ever lived off campus.
And it's their mother who's signed the lease, and that's where the check comes from.
Right.
But the whole issue that I encountered when I was at Monmouth was a lot of, because Long Branch is a lot of full-time residents, right? It's not it's not like it's not a big shore town.
On the 2 blocks on the shore where we are. That's really.
But I remember parties.
But inland, it's all.
I remember parties people would get pissed off.
Yeah.
Because you were talking about, I'm like, be careful.
Where Monmouth University sits, it's a residential area.
There are a lot of residential people that the cops got called constantly at house parties because it's like, imagine you're home with your kids and there's a bunch of jerk off college kids are partying.
Rent to college kids. There's certain areas I'm not sure about.
You would know more than me, but I just remember I never.
I have a 1-bedroom, so it's only going to be one. People.
I never went to really big house parties because the cops always came, and I'm not. I was a good kid back. I still am good. Well, I'm an adult, but I still am good. I was never into that, but you do have to be careful.
Maybe.
Yeah. You do have to be careful though when you're buying for investment, who you lease to, because you don't want your neighbors hating you.
Right.
You have to kind of find that happy balance. But yeah, where you are, it's definitely much more rental, but. I remember a lot of parties, just a regular residential street. There's taxis, there's cars, and I'd be pissed.
Yeah. I can't wait. Scott's going to be down there with me soon. He's my neighbor.
Next year's big investment.
Find them a spot down there.
Yeah. See, me and Matt are beach people, but I like Long Branch because it's just there's so much to do. I'm just afraid of the critters in the ocean. They don't come on land and bother me.
Yeah, that's the day when you have to worry when they start coming out of the ocean.
I told you, my best friend, we always were in Seabright. Love Seabright because my friend's boyfriend lived there at the time. She'd carry me into the ocean to some degree, and I'd just be at her. I'm so afraid to put my feet down, so I would just
bottom is so clean. If you find one shell, it's almost impossible to find a shell there.
Then I can see it
sand,
better. I just don't like things touching me that I don't know what it is.
Well, you'll be able to look down and see it.
But I won't enjoy it. I'm like, I've never seen me in full panic mode. It's not good.
We'll have to check it out this summer. We'll have to bring it down.
If I have a couple of drinks, I'd be running into the beach. But my girlfriend was great. She helped me go in the ocean, and she'd kind of once you're in the water, you're lighter. I'd go in her back, or I just tread water constantly because putting my foot down. And my girlfriend, like a dumbass, she dove down, and opened up a clam and ate it. I'm like, you're gonna vomit tonight.
That's a little.
That
might scar you.
I mean,
it's Seabright. We're not talking about Lake New Orleans or San Francisco or
New Orleans
Seattle.
wouldn't be good either.
Yeah. But crawfish, you could probably eat that.
I mean,
oysters.
Is she really that hard up to have a clam?
It was Michelle. It was just the fact that we could. We were hammered.
Oh, you left that part out. Yeah, right. Okay,
really?
It's a little different.
I thought you weren't that kind of girl, though.
Yeah.
What do you mean that kind of girl? No, I was I was 21.
But Scott will be down there, and you can come and hang
I'll be down in October.
We'll carry you in.
Yeah, I'll be down in October.
October
for a weekend.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I don't think we'll be hitting the beach in Portland.
Hey.
No.
Oh yeah.
I was looking at flights today because there was a new email going around. Everybody trying to who's in, who's not.
My bachelor party, right?
Yep. I'm pissed I'm not invited. It's sexist as shit. It's really sexist.
It is.
I'm really fun.
I'm okay with it though. No, it's gonna be it's gonna be a good time. We'll definitely take Scott out around here.
Yeah.
Because
we should do our own bachelor party for him.
Because Deb will definitely want to.
Me and Deb are pissed. We're like, really? I thought you guys are modern men.
It's Portland, though.
I'm just kidding. I wouldn't want to come anyway. I don't like you that much.
We're going to a soccer game.
Hey, Meg did like the soccer game.
I loved it. I was like, wait, this is amazing.
So it's going to be, there's some fun.
When I get married, it's going to be no beard wedding, so you two can't come.
No beard.
No beards. Got a beard, you can't come.
See, you want us to come, though, so you're just hurting yourself.
I would go clean shaven, but then, if you have no kids at the wedding, they'll be like, no, you're not allowed in.
Yeah.
We'll be sitting at the kid. No, we'll be sitting at the kids.
Like, do you want chicken fingers instead of like
fries with that?
I would gladly take chicken fingers.
Me too. I know. I like chicken fingers. Well, that'll never get old. Chicken fingers, mac and cheese. Me and Matt had that for dinner like a month ago. And we're like, we had the dinosaur shaped ones from Purdue. We're like, this is amazing. It was just one of those nights where we just went old school, like Velveeta mac and cheese.
Dante's
and
gonna
chicken.
love you.
I know. See, like Sergio's married. I missed my opportunity, so I have Dante. I'll get that empire. I'll get in there.
We got it next year for Red Day. We're going to try to plan to work at the Ramapo.
Yeah, I was excited when
rescue.
I heard that this year.
We're gonna.
What are we going to do? Brush them?
There's a lot to do.
There's a lot of projects.
Painting. There's amazing barns on the property.
Fixing fences,
cleaning,
things
right?
like that. Yeah, I mean, like I worked there. I mean, I didn't not regularly on and off, but during the winter we would go over as a family and break up ice buckets, do projects.
Beautiful.
For when I was in high school, I used to work for my uncle over there, fixing fences, painting barns, doing cleaning stalls, and it's not that bad. Horses do not smell nearly as bad as cats or dogs or anything like that.
No, because the horse smells kind of like a good smell in a way.
It's just hay.
It smells nice.
It's just.
I just am a little allergic to that.
Clean diet.
But we used to.
Yeah.
I mean, my cousin used to actually live on the at one. There's 3 townhouses at the farm, and he used to live in one of them. And we used to go over there, and I mean, we were mischief. We would hang out in the hayloft and run around and
cool.
play not cops and robbers, but like whatever, like
cowboys and Indians,
like hide and seek, manhunt.
How cool is that on a farm, right?
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Go on ATVs in the back.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a blast. So it's, but there's lots of projects, and now that they're a registered charity, we can get a lot of supplies, for that are donated from companies like Home Depot and Lowe's. Yeah. They'll just give what we need for the supply side of it, so we can, I really think that we'll really try to get connected with them next year.
All right, so we'll see in a year from today. We'll be talking about it again.
Absolutely.
I'm in
Very
on
true.
that list.
We have to have Amy come on one day.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I like Amy. She's so smart. She's so pretty.
I can't believe how quickly that passed by. It's like
it's because Sergio's
been on an
amazing.
hour? Yeah.
Really? What did we talk about?
You know what's so funny?
Oh my god!
I just feel weird because before when I was getting another drink, I didn't have my headphones on, obviously, and it just sounded like we were talking. But which we are, but when you have the headphones on, it feels so much more like a podcast. And then I'm in the kitchen, I'm like, imagine someone just
to you guys, it's all new to me.
It's true. I'm actually used to hearing my voice now. I don't cringe anymore. I'm used to it. I know exactly how I sound. Me and Scott were
it's gonna be a new experience for Sergio.
We hated hearing ourselves.
But now it's just gotten comfortable, and but yeah.
I like this setup here. You guys are.
I know it's pretty legit.
Cool.
It's pretty legit.
It's cool.
We got to get a poster made of us.
This is pretty cool,
right? We got to get a poster. I want something right here of Castle's Cribs.
Yeah, I gotta talk to my. I see coffee. You got me on top.
Cool, but he said it like coffee. He didn't just say coffee. He was like cool.
So do you have any on location?
We haven't done any.
We haven't done any. We
I think Mega Camp has to be our first.
Oh yeah.
Yes. No, we brought. I do have a microphone that hooks right into my iPad that I can record on the fly. It's still not going to be the quality that
we have right now.
But it's still pretty good, and we tested it out a little bit on the way when we were going to. Triple Play.
Okay.
But we never really sat down and
at 3 o'clock in the morning, Scott's like, let's go record. I'm like,
what did you guys? Oh, so you did it at the hotel,
no,
not in the car or anything.
In the car we were trying it.
The
but
boys
on location,
made me
right?
go back out at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, all right, fine. So we went back out.
That was your first Triple Play?
My first Triple Play.
Not my first.
Okay.
No,
but it was your first. Mine too. After all these years.
But I think. It'll be.
And we didn't plan it together, right?
Yeah.
It was
Never
like
thought
I only saw you once, one day.
yeah.
And
I was dying the next day.
It was good, but it was exactly how I overall remember things. We get so much better information through KW.
I just took too many classes.
I see.
We took none. I took none.
I was in class all day.
I was in bed all day, crying.
My first class was 8 to 5 every
You're
day.
Crazy.
There's good classes,
And parties every night, which was good.
Yeah,
Free. Best part.
A little gambling. I wish it was summertime.
The first night.
I'm in Atlantic City on the beach, and at least it was 50 degrees. Right?
Yeah,
I got to walk on the beach.
It wasn't too bad.
If it was like July,
that would be great.
that would be. I think.
I had a bad experience on the boardwalk in Atlantic City, so that's why I don't like going out there.
So no boardwalk. You don't like going in the ocean.
No, I like the ocean.
You're not a beach person.
I love the beach in theory. I don't like the things that are there because I've had another incident in Atlantic City.
We'll get all of us around you.
Long pants and shoes on the beach.
No.
Okay.
No, we were just wondering.
I always wonder, like, people walking around with like socks on the beach.
No. I wear khakis, a polo. I have a sweater, with,
Ascot,
and I've got
when I
boat
was
shoes
on.
on.
Know what I'm getting this year?
When I was on the boardwalk in Atlantic City, my friends were like, "Let's go shopping." I'm like, "I'm gonna go to a bar." They just took forever. And like I was sweating, it was so hot. I'm like, guys, I'm going back inside. So I'm walking by myself. A pigeon comes by. It's winged to this.
Yeah.
Where
I
was
just
this?
had Atlantic City. I had Atlantic City seagull's wing in my mouth.
Wow.
And I went, oh my God. And no one saw it. I just go, I'm like, I'm going to go get my blood.
At least it didn't poop on you.
Yeah.
I would rather that than have something in Atlantic City in my mouth. So it's like, I was like, I have to go to the doctor and be like, test me for everything. I had a friggin' Atlantic City seagull in my mouth.
Well, she's still alive, so.
I made it. I made it. But, you understand now why I don't. And also, the boardwalk is so run down there. It's so crappy.
I don't know. I walked it a lot.
Pretty good shape.
Actually, at different
I'm
times
saying,
of the
like,
day.
all the stores are crap. The bars are crap. The restaurants. I actually had a really good cheesesteak, so I'll take that back. But, I don't know. It's not like. It's just not like
it could be an amazing.
Yeah.
And it's
town
not.
again.
I love seeing, like, I saw Anthony Bourdain do his special down there. And he was talking about the old, and it's just like, it's such a shame that
they have all those hotels if they just geared it towards families.
Yeah, but
right?
the problem is there's just not that attraction at the moment.
But it can be. You have all that real estate there.
Yeah.
It's still
I
on the
love
ocean,
Anthony
right?
Bourdain.
It's still on the ocean. It's got an amazing boardwalk and history.
Oceanfront property always going to be.
Yeah.
Wasn't that your theory that it's going to come back, or is that
every ocean?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I mean, look at Asbury.
Yeah. Asbury's booming.
It's getting low enough.
Well,
that it may be able to recover.
At those auto seminars, right? Atlanta County right now is like one of the toughest markets, but just buy low and.
But you say Long Branch. When we actually were looking, we looked even in Asbury, and
oh yeah,
the agents down there were like, "Why don't you go to Long Branch? Long Branch is up and coming. They started building already." Where Asbury, there was no traffic lights. It was like a ghost town. I'm like. This is not the Asbury that I remember as a kid going there.
Right.
And now Asbury is packed.
Yep.
When we drive through it, it's packed.
Because people keep reproducing, unchecked.
No, because people finally put money into
reproducing.
And it's the ocean, like you said, like Scott said, it's the ocean. I mean,
and you've got good ferry service from that area.
And Jersey has a huge coastline.
Yep.
So every town is diverse.
I think we have really nice beaches.
They're great beaches.
People make fun of our beaches.
But remember, it's the shore. It's not the beach. Right. Yeah. It's the Jersey Shore.
I always say I'm down the shore when I'm even at the shore. I'm down the shore. Well, I'm already at the shore, but like that's some of the things you say. Like I'm down the shore.
And it's a long shoreline.
Yeah.
I really like Long Branch though. I like Long Branch.
So, well, thank you very much for being our guest. We'd love to have you back. And,
you'll come back someday.
I'd love it. This is cool.
So, thanks again for Castles, Cribs, and Cocktails. I'm Michael Copeland.
I'm Scott Stewart.
Megan O'Brien.
Thanks for listening.